Oh shit, this thing is on. Um, I've essentially decided to leave vacation status going until the end of this year. The reason for that is that I have trauma and a crisis going on in my life, uh, which is an extraordinary draw. I'm having to put in essentially work. I'm having to spend almost all of every day at work. Uh, so I will rerun some things. I will run some streams, but there will be 3 to 5 days between each 48 or 24-hour run, and um, I still haven't started advancing the work I have cut out to do from finishing the writing work from this year. I've more or less been continuously iterating this from January 1st up to the point I started seeing the finish line, seeing the stop point. And so in seeing that stop point, I have devised some new tutorials that frame all the rest of what I need to do with the raw material that's been written into the stash, which is basically this, the compute model. So what compute specifically does is allows us to look at an action or just perceiving the consequence of an action, the creation, the object output in some sense. Either one, we can look at actions or objects with the compute lens. And what it specifically means is one rotation at a time. So everything I'm doing can now become clarified through the compute lens. And so when I sit down to do um, highlight making, I'm going to be doing that quickly without accumulating like a backlog, because my backlog is already accumulated. I can't add anything else to it. Anything that I sit down to do is very clearly defined. I have to unbacklog the immediate things that are in those two streams I did. Um, so far, I did two 48-hour runs of new, essentially help desk content, and within those are a couple things I had planned to sit down on Meditation Monday and just do this, talk to the stream, and cut them into the highlights for the archive. Um, the compute lens basically says this is the action I'm doing right now. It leads to this object. Whatever it leads to is what it leads to. And then the exit point for, in the compute sense, the exit point is kind of like it points you at the next entrance. Every exit points you at the next entryway, and every entryway is a checkpoint for here's exactly what should happen once you walk in this entryway, carrying you to the exit. So that's like a gameplay shaped creativity model. Um, and thinking about it in this way is massively useful to me because I'm doing game design uh, to, in some sense, create packaging for these ideas that I have and for these mental health dash creativity dash organism unity feelings that I have, due to my specific struggle, due to the specific injuries I've sustained and the suffering I've endured and watched others endure, informs this compute model, and it informs my entire interest in creativity, mental health, and dialogue, talking to each other, helping each other, understanding that politics means one person going to any other person available to them in a hierarchy. What hierarchy means is just that part where I cross the distance to any person that I can cross the distance to, anybody I can possibly reach to request help or to say, how can I help you? Um, That's the hierarchy for politics. It's one to one only. Any other use of the word politic is oversimplifying something that's much more complicated after you get past just individuals asking each other what's in your way or help me with what's in my way. So compute as an object viewing tool lets me um, just put a really helpful frame on what do I want to do with the two things inside of Fortress, which are please wait and call now. Call now and please wait. Um, so I had intended to sit and make those highlights in the stream, the doing this stream sense, but I just simply cannot. I'll have to do them kind of offline and just continue rerunning the showcases of things I've made in that way. Just as I built this help desk launch stack, I am continuing adding to it. So this is kind of like the expansion ad, like the 1B. We've done 1A, and that's the existing help desk and the Fortress curriculum, which is mostly Jordan Peterson, but it's also a very large Terrence McKenna stack. So this is, you would say, this is the first just commentary, like Meditation Monday style commentary on the final page of 2021, which is something new. This is a new and distinct object. This is what's after the Zen Paradox and Zen Paradox game pondering. This is what the game brings into view. This is what is inside the room, the Zen Paradox room. It's a help desk inside of there. It's a it's a surface on which you and me can channel actions of help. Actions where each one of us inputs something in, and there's an output, and then you interpret the output back to me. I interpret the output from yours back to you. That's help desk. So you have to do both things. You have to do please wait, and you also have to do call now in order to experience the help desk. It's a necessary conversion between these two, and that gives you the meaning of compute right there. It's an object that leads to the next one. They flow back and forth with the two essential energies for go and stop. So there's really only two words. There's go and there's stop. There's hello and bye. There's yes and no. There's right and wrong. And there's the cursing circuit and the juice circuit. And it's intuitive. These two words are those are different variants of all the same things. Welcome and sorry. Like those two things constitute the two halves of uh, the the part of communicable reality, the part that's perceptible and communicable, can only be done with those two words. And so once you catch on to that, you get to how do you use them in an inquisitive sense? How will we use them in troubleshooting? Well, it's easy. We just figure out which thing are you trying to tell me, yes or no, and about what are you trying to tell it to me. So while educating small kids, you run into that. Like we're trying to have a communication. I'm trying to figure out a way to get through to the younger person. I'm trying to figure out which words or actions I can use that gets through to them. Give me the password. Give me some indicator of what it is and whether you're doing a yes or a no about it. What's your expression? And the yes or no is like, so you like it or it's in your way, basically. Um, and it really is that simple. Uh, in order to not be overwhelmed by complexity in the attempts to interact, the attempts to help each other troubleshoot a loved one or themselves, you have to get to that truth and then meaningfully iterate in it. So I really only need to learn how to construct communications that are informative, that inform us of which one is it. Is it the yes or the no, and about what? What are you yesing? What are you knowing? And then the nuance within that is just in timing, the timing of how much of a thing do you need, how much of the bad thing could you take or endure before you need to mitigate it, and then establish the balance, what I call the peace wealth, the state where you've said what you have to say, you've been heard, nobody's infringing, and nothing is ultimately in your way to acting out the peace that comes when you are honest with yourself, when you confront what's in your deepest heart and you really do it.
The Doors, a technique to shift reality, enter a new dimension, by All Is Mind. Before I go to the technique, I want to talk about the principle on which this technique is based. We basically live in a so-called multiverse. Each circumstance, event, situation, experience is only one probable version. The same applies to people. Each person, you included, is only one probable version of all the available ones. Some people say there are infinite versions, but I don't think so. There are simply many, countless of them. The most important thing here is that you understand that the present experience you live of each circumstance or situation or event is simply one among many other available at the same time. The others are as real and valid as the one version you are experiencing. The difference is that it is not lived physically, and it is not lived physically because it is not selected by the mind. And it is not selected by the mind because some of us don't know that we have the power to just do that. Select what we want deliberately. I don't want to say that all of this is pure science, because I am not a scientist. I don't pretend to be a physicist, and I have no formulas. What I have is simply a mind and the ability to use and test it. So everything here can be tested for yourself and used regardless of whether it is scientific fact or not. It is a testable, experienceable truth, and I guess that's all that matters, at least for me. If it works for you, good. If not, you have nothing to lose. The Doors. Remember what was said using the bold letters. The Doors. There are many countless versions of each event, experience, situation, etc. I decided to use doors to represent each of them. Close your eyes and relax. I do this in bed, preferably with some relaxing music. Take some time to become very relaxed to the point you can imagine easily. Select one particular area of your life, the one you want to change, the one that is your present experience. To do this, pretend that all areas of your life are doors. So imagine walking in a long hallway and seeing all the areas of your life. Love, finances, accomplishments, health, relationships with whoever, etc. Select the door you are interested in changing. Let's say it is finances or whatever it is you choose. So picture a door and picture the words finances or whatever you've chosen. Enter through that door. Once you enter, imagine that it is again a hallway. This time all the doors are versions of your finances or whatever it is you've chosen. Find the one that represents your present version of financial or whatever you've chosen reality. You will find it because it is written, present reality, on it. Enter it and see your actual reality as it is. Look at it as long as you want. Do not overthink this. Do not try to see in great details. Just let yourself go. Your way is the right way for you. When you are finished, come back to the hallway and close the door. Now walk further in the hallway and find the door where it is written, the desired reality. Open it, enter and close the door. Again, do not overthink this. Do not try to see in great details. Just let yourself go. Your way is the right way for you. It is enough that you simply think of these steps. No crazy visualization is required. Now experience your desirable version of your financial reality or whatever reality it is you've chosen. Basically, live in it. Feel it. It is as real as much as the other one. You simply have to decide it is the present experienced physical version. These two doors are in the same hallway. They both exist at the same time, both equally valid, both real. If you decided that is your reality, now come back to the hallway and close the door. Just rename it with your thoughts. Present reality. Go back to the past, present reality door and rename it with your thoughts, but with the name old version. Your work is done. You can walk away now from the hallway and leave it all. You can fall asleep or wake up and go about your day knowing you changed something in your mind. When you wake up, you may notice that you act and feel differently about that particular area of life that you changed. You may see different versions of events taking place, different opportunities. Invisible doors now make themselves visible and possible, because truly, reality works in that way. We go through our lives and we see only the doors that make sense in our mind and beliefs. We see what makes sense to us. Once we change our mind, we see new doors, and the old ones no longer make sense. Many people who change their life drastically will tell you that their success was always in front of them. They just didn't see it and act upon it. They basically did not see the desirable door. You did, and you selected it. This technique works for all goals. I cannot guarantee that it will work your first time because it may not work the first time for everyone. It is okay to repeat it. The only requirement outside this technique is that you feel like you changed your reality, or simply not think of it at all. Overthinking this during the day may only sabotage the work you did. Best wishes, and don't hesitate to share your experiences. All is mind. All is mind links will be in the info section beneath this video.